As we all know, it's not like that shrinking violet Meghan Markle to step away from a microphone. We've seen it recently, haven't we, where she virtually wrestled someone to the ground in order to grab the microphone. I actually feel that it's a little bit a case of miscommunication, dare I say. You can see the fact that the woman's walking up with the microphone. You could understand, if you want to be fair, exactly how Meghan must have thought, well, it's got to be for me. Who else could possibly be offering to give a speech? Of course, this isn't the first time that Meghan's been declined the opportunity to impart some of her many pearls of wisdom, even though many people didn't bother asking for them. You get the picture. Let me explain. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thank you so much for joining me today. By the way, can we congratulate a real legend, a US superstar, Barry Manilow, who has now recently just broken the record for doing more shows than another mega star, Elvis Presley, in Las Vegas. Had to happen, of course, naturally. It's the way life goes. But I think what's fascinating about Barry, and Barry does a terrific show. If you haven't seen it, you do get the opportunity, do go. But he's literally broken a record. I like the fact that this is a man, he won't mind saying, in his 70s, who's still going strong, still trying his best, of course, and doing brilliantly to entertain us all. It is good that people still want to go out there and entertain. And isn't it the legends, the likes of the Shares, the Dinah Ross, these are the people that are still pulling people in. Also, can we just wish the very best of health to Bruce Springsteen, going through a bit of a battle himself there. Fingers crossed he comes out of that. Back as ever to your break and roll story of the day. Again, interesting story here, because as we know, with Meghan Markle, as she arrived late over at the Invictus Games in Germany, Dusseldorf, she came up with this very snazzy excuse. Apparently, she was delayed on the school run, and then, of course, other bits and pieces. You get the picture. Now, what was interesting, I found, about this particular story was, if you look at the original sheet, she was definitely down to offer a speech. No two ways about it. Her team can dress it up. They were going to give her a speech. And then, suddenly at the 11th hour, it was only Prince Harry. Now, many people might suggest a bit of a blessing. We'd heard Meghan quite enough this year, particularly on that terrible situation with the catastrophic car chase in New York City. What was the real reason why Meghan was firstly on the sheet, running order, and then not on the sheet? Strange, although it may seem. So we contacted both ends, and we often do here on the show. Nobody ever bothers to get back from the Meghan Markle office. But then again, if you look at that Parisian documentary, perhaps there's no one there anyway. Perhaps Harry's too busy feeding the chickens, or in fact juggling limes somewhere to answer the phone. You never know what job you might miss, Harry. Be careful. Interesting. So we reached out to the Invictus Games, and they did, in fact, confirm that that was an idea mooted around at the time, depending on whether Miss Markle wanted to speak to them or not. But she'd felt, according to them, that she'd already spoken enough to the Games at the beginning when she'd arrived and spoke to all the various people with that impromptu press conference. So they didn't want to turn it in the end to something like she was being brought on and addressing. Now, one might suggest, of course, that given that she did that impromptu press conference and more importantly decided to march with those people, that was enough, quite frankly, of Meghan Markle. The other side of it is simply this, though. A team are fielding out exactly what works and what doesn't. Are people responsive in a message to Meghan, or are they not? And the real reason for this, quite frankly, political. Can she hold an audience? Can people get engaged in what she's actually saying? And more importantly for Meghan, if they like what she's saying, will they stick with it? Trust me, nothing is ever what it seems in the world of celebrity. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.